You are watching Capital Jazz TV, and this is Jodine. We are on the SuperCruise IX with one of our favorite artists, Mr. Kenny Lattimore. How are you, Kenny?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having
so good
me.
to
Thank
see
you so much for having me.
So good to see you.
Great to be here.
So tell me, this isn't your first time here.
This is my first time on Capital Jazz Cruise.
Because you've been at the festival before.
Absolutely.
How do you like it? How do you feel about it?
Oh, I love it. I mean, it's so great to bring together an intimate setting like this for people to see the artists that they want to see and interact and all. That's what makes this really special. When we're doing the huge festivals, you're not able to just touch the people in the same way. But here, you know, I'm going to walk by, you're going to see me, and we get to have a little conversation.
Right. And what I love about SuperCruise is like you'll be in the buffet line and folks will just, take a little selfie with them. But they're not bothering you that much.
No, they don't bother me. It's adults. It's people who respect each other's space because people are accomplished in their own right as well, just like we are in our music career. So it feels like a position where it's just a gathering of friends, and sometimes you do run into friends. I haven't seen you since high school or college or whatever, and you're like, whoa, I remember. It's a great time, almost like a reunion.
Any artists that you want to see that's on the cruise that you've been able to look at and highlight?
I wanted to see CeCe Winans. I got to see her on Sunday, which was absolutely amazing. My great friend Rochelle Farrell.
Yes.
Joe is on.
Yes.
He and I are going to be performing together tonight. And Frank McComb and Eric Roberson. It's a lot of relationships that I've had through the years with some great people that are on the ship.
Did you go to school in Howard with Eric?
I didn't go with him.
Okay.
I had a few more years on Eric. But actually, interesting enough, Eric used to sing background for me years ago. So amazing. Incredible artist in his own right, but he worked with me, I guess, on his come up, and he has come up. So I love it.
And talk about your come up, new album, Anatomy of a Love Song. Tell us about this.
Real excited about it. I call it my journey back to love because there was a time period that I spent a little more laid back from the performances and all for about 7 years. And I spent raising my son and focusing on administrating his life, and which I love. I love being a dad. And but at the same time, it was like, well, son, but I'm gonna have to go on back to work in a minute. So I started working on this album a really long time ago. The catalyst for it was a guy named Carvin Hagens, a great producer. He said, you know what, Kenny, we need your voice in the industry. And at first I was like, that's nice, Carv, you my boy, and thank you. But he was like, no, seriously, I have some songs for you. And we started the process of this album. And again, I didn't quickly return. I kept nurturing it for a while because I was trying to figure out what is Kenny Lattimore supposed to sound like in 2015, 16, 17, because the industry had changed so much, and I had frankly fallen out of love with the industry and all of the, never the music, but just the process and all the performance brought me back. I ended up being in a couple of different venues doing some shows. I got a call to do a couple things, and I said, okay, let me go and do it. And the magic, the exchange of communication happened with the audience in such a way that I was like, oh, that's right. That's what this is like.
That's why I love this.
And I had to really pray, though, and I had to say, Lord, okay, even with that, there's got to be a greater purpose. It's got to be greater than me even just making money and surviving and this being my career, although it is. I was like, well, I could be doing something else. Sometimes we think that after you've been doing it for 20 years that you could do something less stressful or you could do something a little different. But you know what? 20-year relationship, it's like being in a 20-year relationship with another person, period. You find those periods where you don't feel like you're in love as much. But then when you go back and you realize why you fell in love in the first place, it all comes back. And I was like, gosh, I remember this now, and I remember that it was to sing to the hearts of women and to the minds of men and to encourage them in love.
See, we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna put a hole in that pin in that one because I want to talk about that slogan. When I read that, I was just like, ooh, this is interesting. But I want to go back into what you were talking about, falling out of love and the anatomy of a love song. We do need your voice. So yes, I agree with the producer on that one. Definitely, there's something about the music now and R&B and just love songs. It's not like sex songs, but love songs. And you're looking at it from a different lens now because you're a father. You've grew up in this. What is the difference when you create or write the anatomy of a love song? What is the difference?
I think the focus is that it's true love. It's a God love. It's a spiritual thing.
Yes.
It's a connection. It's a depth and a sacrifice, a sacrificial kind of love. And those are the kind of things that aren't talked about, because I don't think that some of the young people have totally experienced what real love is yet. And what they have experienced is a more selfish thing that we call love. And it's nothing wrong with that part of the experience, but it'll be a process before they get to hear, you know. But it's interesting because I still run into a lot of the music lovers that love what is the trap music and the, what we call the ratchet.
You gotta have a balance, you know. Like when I'm in the gym, it's ratchet all the way.
Ratchet all the way to give you a different energy.
Right.
But then, if you were 15 when For You first came out and Never Too Busy, now you're 35 years old, you're looking for some more substance and depth. And that's what I tried to get into on Anatomy of a Love Song. I tried to think about what are the things that I need to say at this particular time in my life. Much of my albums are like that. From the Soul of Man, my second CD, was a real showcase of that lyrically, the things that we don't always say as men, that we need to say. So it was a lot of fun doing this album, and it really was cathartic for me because it did bring me back to my purpose and myself.
Have you found your purpose?
You know, I think that purpose was that the whole thing about singing to the hearts of women and to the minds of men and encouraging in love. That is so significant.
Yes.
And something that it's I think almost like bringing a therapy. And if you come to the show tonight, you'll see what it's like.
Can't wait.
It's almost like using this platform to really speak to people and encourage them.
But when I read that, it said singing to the hearts of women. So of course, I'm thinking, okay, so women love with their hearts and men love with their minds. Is that where you were going with this?
Absolutely. I think that women love with their hearts, and the emotion and things like that speak to a woman. When you begin to break down the details of what is romantic to a woman versus what's romantic to a guy. When we're in love, we're thinking, as a matter of fact, for a man, respect is how love is shown to him in general. We know there's no cookie cutter for everybody.
Exactly.
But generally, if a man is respected, a woman could say to him, you know what, baby, I got your back. I believe you can do it. It goes into here for us. We hear that, and it goes into our minds, and it expands us in some kind of way. Where for a woman, I have to say something a little more emotional to touch her, and I have to do something a little more thoughtful. Although both of those things are thoughtful, the approach is just different. If I go to a woman and I say, baby, I respect you so much, she'll be like, that's nice.
And about that.
About that. And when you, vice versa, it's interesting when a woman comes to a guy and she's like, oh, I love you so much. We get it, and we're just like, oh, okay, she loves me.
Nice.
That's nice.
Right.
But it's other things that she can say that can penetrate into other areas of a man. That are like things that a woman might think is silly. But if we begin to really understand that we're made very differently, men and women are just different in our approach to life, and we celebrate those things, I think we'll connect.
Love languages are different as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And so I know a lot of these mysteries and secrets are revealed in this new album. Which is what I'm excited
about. I can't wait to talk about it tonight.
Yes. Okay, so I am definitely there, front row and center. Tell us, now that you have this new album, where are you next? Your tours, what's going on? How are you promoting?
I'm KennyLattimore.com. Everything encompassing Kenny Lattimore. So on my social media, Instagram, Periscope. I'm on all those things.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And it's a lot of fun. Twitter
Periscope
still
is still
huge.
like new
it's
to
new,
me.
It's new, but sometimes I'll take people behind the scenes and allow the fans to really see this is what it's like while I'm preparing, or this is what I'm doing when I'm relaxing or getting ready for the show. But everything is at Kenny Lattimore pretty much, except Facebook. If you're into Facebook a lot, then I am official Kenny Lattimore because I had some imposters.
Some hackers.
Some hackers. And that's one of the new things that's happening right now, is if you have a successful social media, people want your followers.
Oh, absolutely.
So I had to get used to that because I felt very offended by that.
Absolutely. Initially. I'm just glad you're opening yourself up and you're opening up, your life to us, because I'm watching the video clips and I'm just like, really, Kenny? Like I'm having that conversation with you on my laptop. So I love that you're doing that. Absolutely.
But my next tour, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you that, is with Will Downing and Mason are doing dates during the Christmas season. So if you're seeing this and it is close to Thanksgiving, I think we start the day after Thanksgiving. And we just do a few dates, but at the top of the year, I'm hoping to tour my acoustic show, which I love doing intimate dates in the acoustic form because it breaks the music down to its simplest form. If your song can translate with just a guitar or just a piano and some percussion or something, then you got a good song, your melodies. And it gives us the room to really have the conversation the way I like to.
Nice, nice. Okay, so upcoming tours, acoustic tour, which I look forward to. Is it acoustic tonight, or are we getting the full?
Tonight you get the full band.
Okay.
You get the full experience. I wasn't sure the size of this venue. So, but you know, we may break some stuff down. When I go to rehearsal, I may have to break some songs down.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I got to hear the bone of the song. I got to hear the bone of the song. This is fantastic. Well, Kitty, we are so happy to have you.
Thank you.
It is always, always, always an honor to just talk to you and see what's going on with you. But I'm looking forward to this new album.
Thank you.
Is it available in stores now?
It is available right now, and we're actually on our second single, Love Me Back. Thank the radio and everybody that supported that. It was a great top 10 hit, and we're on our second single, which is called What Must I Do? So yeah, we're going to talk about what must I do tonight.
Kenny Lattimore's new album, Anatomy of a Love Song. You've got to pick it up. And this is Jodine on SuperCruise IX. You're watching Capital Jazz TV.